Hello, this is meteorologist Brad Winter for Region Weather Lab, your YouTube source for weather across the Dakotas and Minnesota, with just a quick little update on what's going on over the weekend into the beginning of next week. All things considered, it's going to be pretty quiet. We've got this ridge moving overhead as expected, and that's going to allow some of that warm air back into our region, moderate the temperatures a little bit, get rid of those dangerous wind chills that we've been seeing over the past number of days. And then on top of that, we really don't have a whole lot in the way of disturbances, just a few little ones here and there, and then perhaps one that we got to watch out for. Maybe that might clip southeastern parts of South Dakota going into Monday night and into Tuesday. Now, as we go into Saturday, the one thing you're going to notice is these tightly packed isobars, the black lines here, and that's going to mean windy conditions. And actually, this is going to be out of the south. So as we're trying to warm temperatures up, we've been sitting cold for quite a while. And of course, this time of year, it gets kind of hard to get those temperatures to warm back up again unless we have a little bit of a stiff breeze out of the south, and that's what we're going to be expecting. We'll show you some of the wind gusts that are possible a little bit later, but just know there's going to be some possibilities of some blowing and drifting snow as we go through the day tomorrow, especially across the Dakotas. Now, the only other chance that we have possibly for snow Saturday and into Sunday is going to be across the far, far north, and in fact, really not even showing up on the models, but nevertheless, don't be surprised if you see at least a few flurries out of this throughout the weekend. Little better chance as we go into Sunday night and into Monday again, mainly across the northern areas of North Dakota, Minnesota, north of Highway 2. As you get a little bit south, you'll notice every once in a while the models picking up perhaps just a little bit of freezing drizzle in there, and that's going to be a possibility, I think, as we get into Sunday night and into the early parts of Monday. Mainly just, I think, kind of south of Highway 2, between kind of that Highway 2 and Highway 200 corridor within central parts of North Dakota and kind of in that northern part still of Minnesota. But nothing widespread, just keep that in mind. Maybe a possibility as you get into Monday morning. Now, once that passes again, we don't have a whole lot. The only other thing might be as we get into Monday night and into Tuesday, one model is showing that this system that's pulling up out of the south might be just back to the north and west enough to clip the southeastern part of Minnesota. That could bring some snow down into that region. However, now if we compare all the models and see what they're projecting when it comes to the amount of snowfall, you'll see they kind of vary as we'll look at the European and the Canadian model. Here's the American model. Again, that's the one that shows the snow or has the most likelihood of snow down there in the southeastern part of the state. This new one, the Icon, also kind of showing this. The European just slightly, so varying amounts, some really not, they're really not agreeing well at all, but just as we get into Monday night, Tuesday, keep that in mind down in the southeastern part of Minnesota. You might start off with some snow as we get into Tuesday. Now, as we take a look at some of those wind gusts for Saturday, again, these are going to be out of the south, but 35 to maybe up to 40 miles per hour across parts of the Dakotas, particularly across North Dakota. That was noon. This is around 3 p.m. 6 p.m. kind of increases a little more as we push a little bit further into eastern parts of the Dakotas again, 35, 40 miles per hour. So with that, any areas that are going to have snow on the ground, obviously you're going to see some blowing, for sure some drifting, and of course that could lead to some slippery road conditions as we get through the day on Saturday. As we get into Saturday night and into Sunday, those winds push a little bit east. I think this is probably overdone as we're looking at 50 miles per hour, but we'll still kind of say within that 30 to 40 mile per hour range. Anything within this region as we get into Saturday night and early Sunday morning, look for those road conditions to deteriorate, becoming a little bit more slippery. Then as we get into the day on Sunday, those winds are going to be down more so across eastern and southern parts of Minnesota. So of course, as you go through the day on Sunday, you're, deteriorating road conditions, maybe some blowing and drifting will kind of slide on down into that part of our region. And then as we get into Monday, those winds diminish, and the early part of the week actually not looking too bad when it comes to the wind gusts. So I'm just going to take a quick look at the forecasted high temperatures through the weekend and the beginning of next week. Of course, we do have that warm up expected, but to start off Saturday, Everybody off in the east is going to be in the single digits to maybe some teens as you get into northeastern parts of Minnesota, but at least everybody's going to be above freezing for high temperatures as you get further down to the southwestern parts of South Dakota, very close to that freezing mark as you get down to the Black Hills region. Sunday, those temperatures begin to warm up even more, and as you can see down in the southwest, everybody down in here is going to be above freezing, and actually could be well above freezing, upper 30s in some of these areas just on the lee side of the Black Hills. Could be just a little bit warmer, and then of course as you head off to the north and east, the temperatures cool off, but we're still looking at high temperatures in the teens and near 20s, so not bad compared to what we have been seeing. And for Monday, now while the southwest might not enjoy quite as warmer temperatures down there, as you get further off to the north and east, temperatures are going to be generally in the teens to 20s, maybe a little bit cooler in the far northern parts of North Dakota. But generally speaking, especially as you head off to the north and east, everybody's going to be a little bit warmer on Monday as compared to Sunday anyway. And then Tuesday, finally, we get a break everywhere, most everywhere in the upper 20s to low 30s, not looking too shabby as we get into Tuesday. So there's just kind of a quick forecast, not a whole lot going on. We've got a little bit colder temperatures perhaps to start off on Saturday, gradually warming as we get through the weekend and particularly into the early part of next week. So that's a good thing, and we'll keep an eye on that potential storm clipping southeastern parts of Minnesota as we get into Tuesday morning. All right, everybody, if you haven't done so already, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and the bell button that pops up alongside of that way. You'll be notified when I do another video just like this. Also, make sure you hit the like button. That will do me a lot of favor. And that's about all I've got for you. So for Region Weather Live, I'm meteorologist Brad Warner. Everybody have a good day.